What's up guys, Wolf Dog's back at it again for another video, and today we are going to be doing scary animations today. And I know we haven't done it for a long time. I think we haven't done it since Halloween, because I wanted to do like a Halloween theme based. But now I've been seeing some more like off camera, and it's looking more interesting than what they were before. So today we're going to react to 3 animations. And yes, so I think the first one's called I Got Almost Killed in Front of My House. So let's get into it.
Two years ago, when I was 19 back then, we'd just moved to a new house. It was newly built, and although it's not that big size, but at least we were satisfied that we have our own house. One day it was on a rainy night, and I was walking alone in the dark street. Because it was almost midnight, there were no vehicles at all at the time. I was returning home from my friend's house nearby, for it was her birthday on that day. While I was walking, I felt like someone was behind following me. However, when I looked back, there was just an empty street.
Let me just say something for a second. Okay. So if you see a person following you, you know what you should do? Bye-bye. Because it's funny how she's like, you know what to do, say bye and run. Let's get back into it.
There. I couldn't sleep at all that night. The morning after that night, I was trying to calm down myself just watching TV. There was a news about a murder case. The victim was a girl, the same as my age, and the police just found her body in front of her house's main door. Also, her wrist was cut by some sharp thing. The blood was all over her face, and there was a note behind it. She didn't try to fight back, so I killed her.
Of course he didn't.
It was written like this with a smiley face. My heart dropped, that is for sure. It must be the same guy who I met yesterday. What if I didn't resist? What if I didn't shout a scream for help? And what if no one opened the door?
I think that's a valuable lesson. Don't open doors to strangers. Idiot. Okay guys, that was the first one. We've got 2 more animations to go. This one's called 2 True Psychopath Horror Story Animated. So let's get straight into it.
About 10 years ago, my family had a studio rental business in a big city. Our studio had the most thorough security system at that time. So as a result, our studio became the best place for those parents who ever wanted to send their daughter from the rural area to the city. Even though the rent price was highly expensive, our studio was always traded, and because of that, the gender ratio of women was far higher. At that time, there was a woman who had moved into our studio for about 3 months. She was the kind of annoying type that she requested changing the automatic door lock's password several times a month. There was a manual in the room that helps you to change.
So he's saying that she's not being nice because she wants to get her locks changed. It could be for a valid reason. I don't know why you're questioning it because people get locks all the time, or she's bad because she needs a lock. It's something called high security system that you need, especially in these horror story animated ones. So
for oneself. But she kept asking us to do it every time, saying that it was complicated. We felt like she was the type who was going to fuss about our studio someday, so we always did her favor whenever she asked. But one day, she started saying something strange. She said that someone seemed to be coming inside of her room. I swear, we are not those ignorant types of owners who come in and go out of any room. Except for sometimes when people who leave their rooms without telling us they had changed the password or when we had to do an electrical inspection for the empty rooms, asking for prior consent already. But she seemed to doubt me, because I was the one who guarded the studio during my university vacation. Anyway, my parents sent her back to her room kindly, saying that she might be mistaken at first. Then the other day, she came up angrily this time.
Okay, don't you think that's a bit suspicious though? Like, she comes back and then suddenly some things are happening. I bet she's doing all this just to get him fired because she doesn't like him. Because you know how at the start he was like complaining that she likes to change her locks and stuff. I wonder if she wants to change her locks because she wants to be the only one who knows how to get in and him not getting in there. But, okay.
And in a good mood after cleaning the roof in a heavy sweat. And this woman's behavior slowly pissed me off. And even my parents seemed to be suspicious of me at this point. But I couldn't confirm what was happening on each floor because there was only one CCTV in the front door and another one in the parking lot at that time. No matter how I felt the unfairness, I couldn't just install all the CCTV using a huge sum of money.
You can. You can get all of the security systems on to check, see if she's doing... That's the problem with these animations though. Like they say, oh, I couldn't do this because of this, I can't do that. You can. It's called security systems, if animations ever even seen them before. Oh.
Trace when he broke into her room. But as if he were mocking her, the criminal had put those pearl shadows all over the walls, ceilings, and even floors of the room. So the police came to my room after receiving the woman's report. They started to investigate whether they could find any traces of pearl shadow on my keyboard, mouse, drawer handle, faucet, and even the toilet watering lever. But it was nonsense. I was just eating delivery food without knowing anything. The wash basin in the woman's room, which had been empty for 4 days, was completely wet as if someone had just finished taking a shower, and I could see the soap was expanded. I was eventually called to the police station as a witness for questioning. When I finally got back home, I brought my camera that I had installed before to see what was on it, just in case. And then, something strange was caught in the camera.
She could easily be faking that. Because you can easily just put makeup all over the wall with handprints and stuff. It's not hard to do. So she could, at this point, I think she could be faking this. But I could be wrong. We can just wait and see.
On the second night around 11 p.m., the woman's boyfriend was filmed entering that empty room. He wasn't in the video for the third day, and of course I couldn't film it for the fourth day. It was a suspicious thing. In the end, I went to the police station again with my camera and submitted it. The whole story of the incident that was revealed later was like this. It was her boyfriend who made her terrorized and tremble in an attempt to bring her into his studio. While she went to college, he kept sneaking into her room and left those suspicious traces for a month. Then, as his girlfriend noticed the strangeness, she told him what had happened, and he kept telling her about the cruel and scary murdering cases that occurred in a studio apartment. Later, he suggested to her that she could sleep in his house if she was scared. His final goal was cohabitating with the woman, and the climax happened on that day. After hearing that she had set up a trap at the door, he entered her room and rubbed the pearl shadows on the whole room more than she did.
Okay, that is creepy. Imagine you finding out that your boyfriend's actually doing that to you and you had no idea. That is just... And I was the one who was thinking that she was going to be his accomplice. But... let's watch the end.
Thing was all by him. He thought that if his girlfriend felt extreme fear, she would end up living with him. What was even more creepy was that when the police came to our studio that day, he was comforting his girlfriend calmly, hugging her in his arms. The more she got afraid, the more courteously that... and kept thinking about how he could make her scared on the other
Don't
hand.
need that language in my life.
In the end, the man was accused by the woman and her family, and the woman took time off from school due to the huge shock.
Okay, that was actually creepier than the other one. But the other story, what we're going to be doing now, is called My Confession. So let's get straight into it, guys.
There's something I want to confess about, so I'm going to write it down on this anonymous site. I'd like to talk about one thing I really, really did wrong. When I was in elementary school, I had to ride my bike to school because there was some distance from my house to my school. My house was located in a back alley. And one day on my way home,
Nothing bad going yet, but I'm a bit suspicious because the nice ones always turned out the worst. So let's see what this story is going to be about.
Curve, and I couldn't slow down, so I ran over an old lady. She collapsed, passing out, and I rushed back to my house, being terrified. She was a very kind person in my town.
Really? Well done. You probably killed her. Some people
In the neighborhood, so she always greeted me kindly whenever she saw me. Back then, the CCTVs weren't installed around on the streets,
lucky person.
so no matter what happened in the alley, there was no way to find out who did it. And the next day, a handwritten poster was attached to the alley wall. "We're finding a witness. My grandmother had an accident. We don't want to believe it, but if the criminal is one of our neighbors, please confess. We don't want strong punishment either. We just want to resolve the injustice." It was written something like this. "So you don't ride your bike anymore?" The cold sweat soaked my back in a brief moment. Without answering,
And then she says, "You're going to jail because you ran me over with your bike. Bye-bye." Or imagine that'd be just...
passed. The old lady passed away after I became an adult, and there's still the guilt in the corner of my heart. Since I can't tell this story to anyone, I hope you guys understand me using the power of anonymity to write it here. I know, I'm just the most terrible trash in the world.
Okay guys, that is the end of the 2 true psychopath horror story animated. They were really good, they were much more interesting than the previous one that I did at Halloween. And what a scumbag. He just knocked her over and then like saying, "Oh, I didn't do anything. It's him over there." It's like, what a scumbag. So if you want to watch more videos like these, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll put this video in the link in the description below if you want to watch it yourself. So yes, see you in the next video guys. Bye!